All right, let's talk about dying. Because in Ashes of Creation, you're going to die. A lot. And the game is totally fine with that. In fact, Ashes basically says, oh, you died? Cute. Here's a debt. And by the way, you're weaker now. Good luck. So today, we're breaking down every single death penalty in Ashes of Creation. What happens when you die, how to avoid getting punished too hard, and which type of player gets absolutely destroyed by the system. All right, let's get into it. Ashes of Creation handles death very differently compared to most MMOs. In games like World of Warcraft, you just walk to your body and lose some durability. But in Ashes, death is more punishing, more meaningful, and honestly, more exciting. We're still in alpha, so numbers may change, but here's everything you need to know. As someone who dies in literally every MMO, I just want to say, Ashes of Creation is the first game where my character actually judges me for it. When you die, you lose 3 to 4% of your total experience. This applies in both PvP and PvE, but objective-based PvP events have smaller penalties. However, there are ways to reduce these penalties, like having a cleric friend. If a cleric resurrects you using their resurrection skill, your penalty is reduced. And how much it's reduced depends on the cleric's stats. If the cleric has better gear and stats, it will reduce more penalty. Experience debt stacks, and if you max it out, you'll suffer up to 20% stat dampening. That means your character becomes about 20% weaker until you work that debt off by gaining experience. Important note, you do not lose levels in Ashes, but you can go to negative 100% experience, meaning you'll need 200% XP to level up while being weakened. In short, if you keep dying without clearing your experience debt, you'll get weaker and weaker, and whatever you're trying to do will become much harder. So if something kills you a couple of times, take a break and switch to safer activities to clear the debt first. Experience debt may also reduce item drop rates from monsters, so it is not a good idea to farm rare items when you have an experience debt. The developers also mentioned there could be a 5 to 10 minute debuff, but that part is not final yet. Now let's talk about PvP flagging, or as I like to call it, how to accidentally ruin your life by hitting the wrong person. In Ashes, your death penalties depend on your PvP status: non-combatant, combatant, or corrupt. Here's the breakdown. We will all start as non-combatants. You will become combatant if you attack a non-combatant or a combatant player. However, you will stay non-combatant if you attack to a corrupted player. So, if you already became combatant, and if you kill a non-combatant player, you will become corrupted. However, if you kill a corrupted or a combatant player, you will stay as combatant. If you are corrupted and if you kill a non-combatant player, your corruption will increase, but killing combatant or other corrupted players will have no effect on your status 1. Non-combatants. These players take the full death penalty. That includes a death debuff lasting 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how often you've died, 3 to 4% total XP loss, dropping about 20 to 30% of your carried gatherables, materials, and glint. Glint drops as stolen glint. No drop from consumables like cooking or alchemy items. Reduced health, mana, and other stat dampening. Lower monster drop rates. Durability loss. And durability in this game is not just a gold sink, it requires materials to repair. Reduced penalties in open sea naval PvP zones. Combatants. Combatants take half the penalties of non-combatants. This is honestly a smart design. It encourages players to participate in PvP without being punished too heavily. Players are flagged as combatants when they attack another non-corrupted player using a forced attack. If the person you hit fights back, they also become a combatant. If they don't fight back, they remain a non-combatant. This rule also applies to anything you control: your combat pets, your mounts abilities, vessels, or any other player-controlled entity. If they attack, it counts as you attacking. Non-combatants who enter an open-world battleground, like a PvP event, are automatically flagged as combatants, and they'll stay flagged for a while after they leave the area. If a non-combatant heals, buffs, or assists a combatant or a corrupted player in any way, they will also be flagged as a combatant. So you can't casually throw heals around in a PvP fight. The game will put you into the combatant state. Starting in Alpha 2 Phase 3, forced attacks won't be required to hit combatants anymore. There will be a UI toggle so you can choose how that works. Combatants can be killed without any penalty to the attacker, and the game actually encourages killing combatants because dying as a combatant gives you reduced death penalties. Players cannot manually switch themselves into the combatant status. You only become a combatant based on your actions. Once you're flagged, you stay flagged for 90 seconds after your most recent aggressive action, whether that's hitting a non-combatant, another combatant, or assisting someone who is flagged. If you support another flagged player or attack a non-corrupt player, that 90-second timer resets. Your nameplate will start blinking as a warning when your combatant status is about to fall off. This feature is planned for sometime in Alpha 2, Phase 2. The key idea here is that flagging is always based on your actions, not what others do to you. If you take an action that supports or attacks in a PvP context, the system flags you accordingly. And then, there are corrupt players. These are the people who wake up and choose violence. They see a peaceful crafter walking by and think, yeah, that one. I want his carrots. You become corrupted if, as a combatant, you kill a non-combatant player. And this includes killing any of their controlled entities, like their battle pet, mount, or vessel. Killing controlled entities gives you less corruption than killing the player directly, and this scaling system is planned for Alpha 2 Phase 2. Your character also has something called Blight, which increases every time you kill a non-combatant over the lifetime of that character. The higher your Blight, and the bigger the level gap between you and your victim, the more corruption you gain. Your corruption score makes all of your death penalties much harsher, and it even reveals your location to bounty hunters. Just like with combatants, forced attacks won't be required to hit corrupted players starting in Alpha 2 Phase 3, and you'll be able to toggle that behavior in the UI. If a non-combatant attacks a corrupted player first, the non-combatant will not be flagged as a combatant. The game basically says, yeah, go ahead, defend yourself. Corrupted players are allowed to kill bounty hunters without gaining additional corruption, so bounty hunters are considered fair game. Corrupt players are on hard mode. They suffer 4 times the penalties of non-combatants. This includes a chance to drop equipped items, including weapons and armor. If you've played Albion Online, it's similar, but not as brutal. The higher your corruption score, the higher the drop chance of your items. Random respawn points instead of regular ones. Death penalties apply everywhere, even in naval zones. Immediate stat and skill dampening as soon as corruption is gained. This gets worse with each corrupted kill until the player becomes almost useless in PvP. Corruption also builds up as you kill non-combatants, so the system pushes corrupted players into a dangerous gameplay loop where death becomes very punishing. After all that suffering, let's talk about something positive for once. Rested XP. Finally, the game gives us something nice. As long as you pay rent. Which honestly feels very realistic. Rested XP is bonus experience you earn while you're offline. It boosts your active XP gain and helps you work off experience debt faster. You get Rested XP by logging out in a tavern, but only if you rent a room or spend time there as a patron. It works similarly to World of Warcraft's Rested system, but fits the Ashes world more immersively. And that's the full death penalty system in Ashes of Creation. Honestly, I love it. It makes the world feel dangerous. Your choices actually matter, and corruption players can't just grief forever. Everyone gets punished equally. Except corrupt players. They get punished extra. If this helped you understand the system before Alpha 2, drop a like, drop a comment, or tell me how many times you think I'll die on day 1, because the correct answer is probably too many. Subscribe if you want more guides, PvP tier lists, or if you just want to laugh at my future suffering. Thanks for watching, and try not to die out there.